So my name is Chantel. I run a toddler football business. I run that for just over 6 years now. So we focus on teaching children to play football, learn through play, from 16 months up to the age of 6 years. We've been getting on really well. We've opened up various locations, but I just kind of found that we was getting at a bit of a standstill. So we was kind of just getting comfortable, which was fine, but we wasn't really moving anywhere. So we have just under 400 children now, and I saw one of the ads for the Scale to Freedom Accelerator course, which is where I started with Katie. I attended that. I had a phone call with Katie as well. She's lovely, really friendly. I've had various coaches in the past for different things, mindset, business and fitness. But in terms of business, Katie is the one for us. Obviously, she specialises in children's activity for business owners turning over 6 figures. So she ticked every box for us. It made complete sense for us to sign up to her. So during the 15-minute chat with Katie before signing up, I got on really well with her. I explained the business. She completely understood, which is something that I haven't had from other coaches before. They've always found it really fun and exciting, but then they've given us ideas, but they're not necessarily ideas we can implement because they don't actually have the skill set. Katie does have that. She's been doing this for, I think, just under 20 years now. So I've been working for Katie for the last few months. A lot of what she said on our call, I could completely relate to. It's stuff that I'd thought about and things that I'd wanted to do with the business, just hadn't pushed forward with it. So since working with Katie, we've been able to make loads of changes, get new people on board to help us improve the business, but also improve it a little bit quicker, such as like Facebook ads. It isn't really a speciality of mine, so I stopped doing it, but we've now got someone on doing that. I do a lot of manual work in terms of spreadsheets and chasing parents. We've now got a virtual assistant on board. So it's allowing me to create some of that white space that Katie calls, to put my time and energy into more exciting bits of the business, but also expand it. So the aim is to obviously get the numbers from the just under 400 mark, but to boost them right up. And I just feel with Katie's help and support, that's something that we're going to be able to do. I'm already noticing that the numbers are growing just because I'm doing extra little bits within the business. I kind of feel like I have that extra energy. I've got a bit more of a buzz about the business now. And it isn't just about Katie as well. I'm sure she won't mind me saying, but there's a great group of people within the team. So obviously there's me as a toddler footballer. There's a lot of other business owners, gymnastics, theatre, dance, other football clubs. So you can catch up with those as well. So you get your one-to-one calls with Katie, which are amazing. I always leave feeling absolutely buzzing, albeit a little bit drained because I get so excited on them and I leave with so many things that I want to do and put into place, but that is a positive problem to have. And then you get your group sessions as well with the team, so you can hear any highs and lows that they're going through at the minute. You can help them, they can help you. So it's really good, really positive. If you're looking to make that next change in your business and you want to grow a little bit quicker, a little bit bigger, but you're just not really sure where to do it or how to do it, I'd 100% recommend the course. Kate is lovely. The other people in the course are lovely as well. I'm often reaching out to them as well. Yes, if you need a coach and you've got a children's activity business, Katie, I'd say she's the coach for you. So yeah, good luck, sign up. What are you waiting for?
run a theatre school business for children called Stepping Out Stars of Tomorrow, hence the bowler hat and the show pictures in the background. I've had my school for 15 years and absolutely love doing what I do, and I've had several business coaches through that period, but I just felt with Katie that I really connected to her. She was really lovely on the phone. I felt that she had a wealth of experience which would really help me take my business to the next level. And that's not to say that the coaches that I'd had before weren't great, because they really were, but I really like the fact that Katie's mentorship had lots of different children's activities in it, and I think it's fantastic that I can learn from football coaches or rugby coaches. It's not just about dance and performing arts, and that was something that really struck a chord with me. I've been in the membership for the last couple of months, and I've really enjoyed the time that I have already started to implement some of the amazing things that Katie has suggested. The first being bringing an extra 55,000 into my business, which could be fantastic if that comes off. So yeah, I'm really super happy and really recommend the CEO membership. It's great.
Hi, my name is Amy Schweizer, founder and director of Tiny Troop Soccer. I am so excited to join Katie in the Gold Medal Coaching Program. On our intensive day, Katie was kind enough to allow my director of operations as well as my assistant director to join us. We had 4 hours of one-on-one personalized coaching that was directly for our business. Katie is the first professional that I've come across that is focused on children's activities business. So that is what first drew us to her. After taking her Scale to Freedom Accelerator, I knew that this would be a great fit, and the Focus Day just completely solidified that. We're excited to work on our marketing programs as well as our affiliate locations. I'm excited to see what Katie has in store and how my business is going to grow. Thank you.
aka Miss Bree, and I'm the founder and director of Daytona Beach Music Academy in Daytona Beach, Florida, United States. Just wanted to hop on and tell about my experience with Katie so far, and it's been amazing. She is a wealth of information, and she's very down to earth, straight and to the point, and will tell you the truth. So one of the first things that made an immediate difference for me was my change in prices. I was planning, I think I started a little bit before May, and I was planning on doing a price increase in September because that's when I usually do my, what we call my annual calendar. And she was like, why wait? Do it now, especially going into summer, which is when a lot of times we'll have a lot of drops. And fortunately, I am happy to report that it made sense to me. I was encouraged to do, or my assignment was to do market research to see basically, that I'm not charging too low nor too high. And then from there, I decided on a price, and we talked through some different things. I can say that when I went into summer, I did not feel like, it actually helps me to maintain. There were actually only a few drops, and that was another advice that was given, was like, hey, don't make a big announcement about, hey, what are you going to do for summer? And that made a huge difference. And so, yeah, just those two things alone, raising the prices, doing market research sooner than later, going into the slower season, kept me afloat. And I'm looking forward to more of working with Katie. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Katie. Katie Cannon, former 5-time British gymnastics champion turned 7-figure entrepreneur in this industry. Welcome. We're about to get started for our accelerator program. And I just wanted to share with you, it's always really important to know who exactly you're learning from. And one thing you're going to be in for a hell of a treat this week. We're going to be teaching you really great business strategies to really scale your brand. We're going to be teaching you, one thing I'm very passionate on is teaching you timeless business principles. They're going to serve you for not just today, but in years and years to come. Not just a quick wins or a quick strategy. That's not going to build a 6-figure plus business. Whatever your goal is, you need the deep-rooted strategies. So I just wanted to do a little bit of an intro on my background and how, I can serve you today, and very much kind of the results that our community and what you can expect to start learning and expect to start implementing. One of the things that we are big on at Gold Medal is really supporting you from the ground up. And I do that because I've worked at every level possible. I've been in this industry for over 20 years. I was a brand new startup business. You name it, I've done it. We've had a franchise model across 100 schools across the London area. We've done the village halls, the schools. We've done own premises. We've rented space. You name it, we have done it. But the biggest thing is I'm still in the industry today. I've made a lot of mistakes. And that is one of the reasons, quite honestly, why Gold Medal exists today, because you're not just learning from 20 years of experience, you're also learning from in the trenches what's working today. So I still have big teams today, my own facilities today, and your learning said what's working, but also from 20 years of experience. You're going to see one of the things that we are going to be doing that we're big on is holding your hand. We're nurturing you to success. We're teaching you to build a champion business, hence why we're called Gold Medal Business. We're going to be working with you to really delve deep in your leadership, your mindset, as well as the key core principles that are going to really support you to build your brand today so that you can scale to the level that you want. In our community, our clients are hitting some really great student numbers, some really great marketing results. But one of the biggest things is they're being able to step out their businesses. They're not exhausted. They've got time freedom. They're then in multiple different avenues within different businesses because they have the time and the freedom, and they've learned how to create one business to maybe $500,000, $1 million, depends what their goal was. But they now have the skills to then be able to duplicate. So you're in for a right treat. Get ready as we're literally about to start. Okay, welcome everybody. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to those who are also on Zoom. We're also streaming onto our YouTube. We're streaming into our Facebook group. We're streaming into, we're streaming into our Instagram, and we're streaming into our Facebook group. So wherever you are, a big warm welcome. We've got a bit of a helper with us this evening. My other half on Monday nights goes to all of our gymnastic entrepreneurs, has gone to pick up my daughter from gymnastics. So he's in charge of the gym runs on a Monday evening. So I've got my little helper, Ashton. This is my 5-year-old. Want to say hello to everybody? No, he likes to introduce himself and he's gone away. He's watching his iPad in the background. Love those iPads for certain things. So welcome wherever you are, as I said, tuning in from, a big warm welcome. Now, I love to see your lovely smiley faces. I don't want to talk to a blank screen. I can only see Paul and Yvonne on Zoom. So please, if you're in your pajamas, I do not mind. Hey, Jonathan, nice to see you. So I don't mind if you're in your pajamas. Obviously, if you're driving, please stay safe. But yeah, where you can, be as present as you possibly can. Cameras on, as I said, because I don't like talking to blank screens. I want to see your happy, happy space, your happy, happy face. So welcome. Some of you, it's your first masterclass with us at Gold Medal. Some of you, I've seen lots of names. We've had over 200 people register for our masterclass this evening. And throughout the week, I'm going to be with you for 5 straight days. The reason why we do 5 days together, each of the trainings build on each other. So the key purpose and our mission at Gold Medal Business is to help you, the CEO. It's not to help you build a business. Some of you may be brand new in business and that is your goal, and that's okay. We all start somewhere. As you heard from my intro, you've heard my background. I've been there, I've done it, I've done every angle of the children's activity model. But I'm speaking to you with, if you're brand new to business and maybe you're a couple of years in or you're 20 years down the road, our mission for you is not to create business owners. We're wanting to create you, the CEO. My mission for you is for you to be able to have a business that can grow without you, but thrive without you. And that's the biggest gap that not only I really struggled with in the first 7-8 years to create, but that's the biggest gap I see in all of my clients that I coach on a day-to-day basis, is being able to have the processes, the systems, the support, the leadership, the mindset to step out that business so it can, as I said, grow without you and thrive without you. So that is my mission for you today, and why we've named our masterclass Thrive and Grow in 2025, because it starts now. The planning doesn't start on January 1st, as we all think, oh, let's get the goal books out. Off we go. We start now planning and hit the ground running in 2025. So it's an honor to have you with us this evening. As I said, we are here for 5 days together. We're going to be covering mindset and acting like the CEO. We're going to be covering your back-end systems and making sure your business is running like a well-oiled machine. We're going to be covering your team and how to support you as the CEO. We're going to be covering creating your systems in sales and supporting team systems. And we're going to be making sure we're leading the team with the right KPIs and knowing what you actually need to be focused on. Because when you get these key elements in place, you can actually plan effectively for 2025. When you don't actually know what you're planning for and you've got things in the wrong roadmap, that's when you get 6 months down the line and go, but I'm in the same place. I thought I planned successfully. It's normally you've got gaps in, gaps in your model, gaps in your systems, or gaps in your processes and your teams. So you're in for a right treat this week. Before we get started, I want to go through a little bit of housekeeping. Make sure you've got your workbook. So I've got lots of notes in my workbook here for you. So make sure you've got this. I want you, if you haven't got your workbook and you can't find it, it's being put in the Facebook group and it's been sent to you on email. If you haven't got it, I just want you to put in the comment box workbook, or if you're streaming on different platforms, I just want you to put workbook in DMs or the comments. We've got my amazing assistant with us this evening called Glia, who is helping us this evening. So everyone give a big wave to Glia, because she is phenomenal. And so make sure you have got your workbook. Secondly, replays. We have a global audience. If you can be live, amazing. If you can't, they are put up 24 hours after, and you can catch the replays. But if you can, be present, be live. That's where you get the most of the experience, but you won't be missing out if you miss it due to time zones, okay? Thirdly, I just want to go through the importance of our free strategy call that is available for you as part of our experience together this week. Now, as you heard in my video before we went live, we are massive on nurturing, connection, and building relationships. That, in my eyes, I have been coached for 20 years. I've done masterminds. I've done one-to-ones. I have done group programs. And where I have got the best results is when someone has been holding my hand and coaching me to success. Group programs have an element in the marketplace, 100%. But we are big on making sure you're in the right place. We can't offer you the right resource, or make sure you're watching the right podcast episode, or making sure you're watching the right replay if we don't know personally about your business. So I want you to take this opportunity. It's a free 20-minute call with myself and my team, where we will go through whatever angle that you're struggling with. That's why it's customized, because everybody's got different purposes in their business, different visions, and everybody's at different levels of their business. So whether you're needing marketing support, whether you're needing team support, whether you're needing growth strategy and want to know what's the next steps for you, maybe it's completely different, and maybe you're needing support for you, the CEO, from a team aspect and from a growth aspect. So I want you to take this opportunity. Glia, can you just pop the 20-minute link? So if you haven't yet booked your 20-minute call, there's about 6 spots left. We've got over 24 calls booked this week. Claim your spot now. I'm just going to give you 30 seconds. So Glia, can you just pop that on the chat box? Thank you, Glia. That's amazing. Jump in, grab a slot that said you'll either get myself personally or you'll get one of my amazing team members. We've got over 100 years of experience within us as a whole team. So claim your spot. As I said, it's 20 minutes. You've got absolutely nothing to lose. It's a completely free opportunity for you as a growth call. And as I said, you'll get the most of your experience this week because we can actually support you, because we know individually and can customize the experience for you. As I said, that's one thing. We are massive on Gold Medal because that's how our clients and how you will get the results, by customization and us knowing all about your brand so we can help you as best we can. So without further ado, day one, we are going to be covering today how to double your productivity and how you can use this to really thrive and grow in 2025. Why is this important? So, when you're doubling your productivity to enable you to thrive and grow, so many times I'll have conversations like, I think I'm ready to franchise, but what's the next step? I think I'm ready to franchise. Am I ready for this yet? Or it's questions like, I'm ready to build another venue. Or I have no clue on my marketing and I really need to improve my student numbers. Or my business is going great, but I'm working 80, 90 hours a week. Who can relate to that? I certainly can in the early days, for sure. So when you are doubling your productivity, it's really important, whatever stage you're at, and some of the things that I may have just mentioned that may relate to you, to where you're feeling and where you're at in your business journey at the moment, it's really important to really dial in the 3 strategies that I'm going to give you today to double your productivity, because at every stage of your business, you need to have these 3 in place to ensure you're working at your maximum efficiency. Because so often we're trying to make decisions when we've got no capacity left, therefore making the wrong decisions because we haven't got the time in our business to do that. So the reason why I'm sharing these with you now prior to next year starting is because when you've got these 3 things in place, I know when I started implementing them over 7-8 years ago, my businesses started to fly because I had the mental capacity and the time to actually think about what I was doing rather than just doing. Now, who can relate to that? Put your hand up if you feel like, I'm just busy, Katie. I'm always busy. I'm always busy. I've always things that never end in to-do lists. And sometimes you get to the end of the month, think we're way off our goals. Why is that? But you're working hard. It's not the work ethic that's the issue. As entrepreneurs, we have fantastic work ethics. You wouldn't be an entrepreneur if you didn't. But that can also swing the complete other way as well. So it's about working smart in the right places at the right time for the right elements in your business to put things together in a jigsaw puzzle. So one of the things why I'm passionate about teaching in this way for you is because, like I said at the beginning, a lot of what we teach you is, it's very easy to grow in this industry. Very easy to grow. You can add another class. You can add another venue. I ended up with 5 gyms at one point, classes all over the place. Was there quality? Absolutely not. There was not. It was a good business. Was it scalable? Nope. Was I in it all the time? Yep. Could I step out of it without being massive problems? And I remember went to Turkey for a week and I came home and they were like, thank goodness, Katie, you're back. And there was problem. And I said, if this business can't work without me being away for a week, we don't have a business. It has to grow and thrive without me. So I said, it's really easy to grow in this industry, but it's not easy to scale. So pens and paper at the ready, guys. Now get your workbooks. I want you to really be present this week. Now, I don't want you to be heads down. You have the replays at your fingertips. So if you need to rewatch them, you can. But I want you to be present and just take maybe like one thing, maybe a second little tidbit that you can implement. I don't want you to think, oh my God, I've got to implement all of it in the next 5 days. Rome isn't built in a day, as we know. So build it slowly. Take one thing and actually implement and do it well before you're implementing the next. So number one, I want you to think of your business and your calendar in terms of where can you implement some white space into your schedule. You heard one of our wonderful clients that was sharing her story of when she started with us, and she said, Katie talks about white space in your calendar. And she's sharing that because for this particular client has made a massive difference, being able to really increase their growth because they've got white space in their calendar. It may not sound like a fancy strategy, but a lot of the time it's not about the massive wins. It's about the small little tweaks, how you're going to grow your business steadily. It's about the small little tweaks and refinement that you're going to build on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis. I don't want you to create a business that does this. That is absolutely exhausting and it will not last. I want you to build a business that's going to be here for the next 10, 20, 30 years, and it's in the ground and the bricks being laid literally every single day. So your white space, what this means, it's looking at your calendar and looking at where are you in your business and where are you out of your business. So this may look very different wherever you're at in your business. If you're just started, you may be in your business a lot and doing all the classes. If you have a team in place, you may be out of the business, but are we working on the right elements? Are you working on the key parts that will actually grow the business? Or are you actually busy, but not getting results? So have a look at your calendar, and I want you to differentiate and really look and go, where is the space that you can put aside to actually grow your business? And the reason why we're looking at this first, your business is going to rise and fall on your leadership and your mindset. The mindset and the leadership piece are massive in your growth in your brand. It's not just about pulling in another 30 students. Can teach you that like that. That's not going to grow a stable, strong brand. It's starting with these basics. So I want you to look at your calendar and really get clear on where, and you can circle. So have 2 columns. Look at your next week, and we do more of this together towards the end of the week during implementation time together, but very much look at your schedule. And you can do this literally as we're training now. Do 2 columns, and you can literally put in, look at the last week and literally put working on or working in. And you're going to write everything that you're doing on your schedule and put them in the right columns. You then want to, once you've done that, you're then going to look at what are you doing that you shouldn't be doing that can be taken off your plate, and where can you create some white space in your schedule to work on the business. So to give you an example, on a Monday, my Mondays are completely blocked out for CEO time. There is no meetings on my schedule, apart from if it's a live launch in the evening, but I don't do any meetings. I don't do any calls or anything like that on a Monday, because that is my CEO time to really dial in and to make sure that is my clear day of focus, thinking, CEO time. You may start with an hour. I certainly didn't start with a whole day initially. You may start with an hour. You might start with a morning. You might start with an afternoon or an evening, depending what your schedule looks like. But you just need to block those times out, even as said, if you're very new to business or you're very established, whatever your journey is, if you're always saying, when I have time one day, I will do that. We all know that will never come. It's like saying, I'm going to save for that. And there's always something to pay for. So it's blocking out that schedule, whether it's an hour, whether it's a morning, whether it's an afternoon, so you can clearly have that time to focus. The reason why I start with doubling your productivity, because everything that I'm going to teach you this week, if you haven't got the mindset and the clarity and the focus to implement, there's no point teaching it. So we start with this because I need you to really start to think of how can you have the time in your week to actually implement what we're going to share with you later on this week. So number one is mindset. Mindset mixed with your white space. When you are, and I'm going to just share a little bit of a background story with you on why this is important before we move on to number two. Now, I'd say it was around 10, 11 years ago. I was single, I had no children, and I had one business. I was incredibly busy. I couldn't see the wood through the trees, as it were. And I remember having my business, it was about 250,000 turnover a year. And I thought, how am I going to ever grow it to 500,000 or plus? I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I've got problems everywhere, from teachers to marketing, you name it. There was problems. It was running. It was doing okay, but it was a nightmare to run. In terms of an emotional capacity point, I was exhausted. I was drained. There was no more time for me to think because there was no white space. Over the years of implementing my white space and implementing strategic strategies, I've been able to grow that emotional capacity. Meaning, what used to really stress me out 10, 12 years ago, now I might think about it for a second and I'm moving on because I've stretched my emotional capacity. Fast forward with that time, I've now got a partner. I've got 3 young children, 9, 5, and 1, and 3 businesses. I'm less busy now than I was 11 years ago because I work smart in the right areas with the right things that only Katie can do, and have built a very strong team. Wasn't always like that. And I love to show you the befores and the afters. And I'm sure in 10 years' time, we're always refining as we're going along. But it started with implementing very simple, like I've shared with you, by just starting with your white space. Okay. So number one is creating that focus and that white space. And I really encourage you, if you've been doing this already, amazing. So happy to hear. But I want you to refine it. I want you to look like, okay, am I using that as effectively as I can? Am I being as productive? Am I being as consistent? Because it's one thing easy to do it, but it's another thing of being productive with that time. So number one is your white space. Number two is streamlining your project management systems. Now, we use tools which are called, the one that we use in our project management tool is called Airtable. There are many out there. You can use Trello, you can use Asana. They're completely free. Our project management tool is a great way to streamline your productivity. It works whether you're a team of 1 or you're a team of 100, you need to be using a project management tool. Using a notebook for your to-dos, or if you're someone that you constantly got post-its and things everywhere and like 3 or 4 notebooks, and you think it's okay, I'm a team of 1, or maybe I'm a team of 2. But I always want you to work with the end in mind. So you always want to be thinking, this is okay now, but if I had a team of 20, would they know what's going on in the business? Would they know where the focus is this week and what we need to be working on collectively as a team? The answer would be no, if it's just your notebook, unless they all live in your house. And literally they can all see your notebook. But having a project management tool will simplify and it will streamline your processes, meaning it's a lot easier to have that white space because you haven't got so many to-dos all over the place and you're not so scattered. So another reason I'm teaching these 1 and 2 steps before we go more into strategy, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, is because you've got to be organized on the front end. However big your business is or however small, you've got to be organized as an entrepreneur. So we use Airtable. I said you've got Trello, you've got Asana, super easy to set up and it's completely free. So no excuses on that one. Just give me a message in the chat, guys, or drop me a message on streaming if you're already using a project management tool. Just put it in the chat. Just tell me which one you're using. There's loads out there. It doesn't matter which one you're using. Just use one would be fab. So we've got Trello coming in, Asana, lots for Airtable. Amazing. Cool. Yeah, perfect. So no, I'm so pleased. And now once you're listening to this, it's thinking, how can we use it in the best possible way? So once you've got one, I then want you to implement, and you will find your own variation for this. I always say, take what I'm teaching and tweak it to how you want to work. But as long as the main thing is it has to work for you. We have a P1, a P2, P3 strategy. It's not rocket science. It's very easy, but it's very hard to follow through as your company grows. P1, this week. What do you want to do this week that's going to move the needle forwards? P2, what do you want to do in the next 2 weeks that's going to move the needle forwards? P3, what would be a good idea? Not really urgent. Don't need to really think about it. Because one of the key things that I see really stops entrepreneurs in their tracks and really stops the growth, especially when you may have a larger team. You've got a good couple of hundred students, maybe 500, maybe 600. You've got a company where you're really, you feel like you're spinning the wheels. You know, you feel like, when I hear entrepreneurs say to me, my brain doesn't stop. I feel like I've got ideas 24/7. You know, when you're out for dinner or you're out somewhere and your mind is going overtime, that is when you need to brain dump and be able to put things in the right places. So P1, as said, that needs to be done in the next week. My whole team all work around P1s, P2s, P3s. Our team is across the globe in my different businesses, and we all work by the same one. When we come together for our weekly meetings, they very much go like this. Okay, what's our P1s? What's our main focus this week? What do we need to be prepping now as a P2 so we can make sure we're on task for the next 2 weeks? That leads them to lead the meeting. I don't come out of meetings with a long list of things to do. I used to, and then it'll be like, oh my gosh, why are these meetings so unproductive? So you're wanting to double your productivity. You need to learn how to manage your time and know actually what is a priority. As I said, as we go through the week, we're going to be teaching more on how to build out your team and manage them. But I wanted to give you a little bit of an idea to start with of what we're then going to lean into for the rest of the week. What that helps your team do is lead their position, but it helps you to not be overwhelmed. When you find that you're not thriving and you're not growing in your business, it's because you've got too many KPIs. You've got too many things you're focusing on. You might be like, I need to improve my student numbers. I need to grow my team. Oh my God, I need to do another syllabus planning. I need to do some more lesson plans. I need to build a new venue. I would like to franchise. Is it the right time? Yeah, too much going on in your brain. You can't, and that's where you lack the focus. That's when you get to the end of the month, and just put me a yes in any live stream or chat, because I've done this many a times. When you get to the end of the month, you're like, geez, is that the end of October already? I'm nowhere near any of the things I set. And it's normally because you probably set too many things to action, but the refinement and the process wasn't there to actually action the main goal in the first place. So I often, when I'm out and about, I often do this when I'm running. If you watch me on a treadmill, you'd be laughing, because every now and then I'd stop and I write something in my phone. I'm coming up with ideas, but I brain dump them in a P3. They're not urgent, but I'll pop them as a P3 because they're coming up in my mind. And that is how you're then getting it out of your head into your phone or onto your iPad later on your desktop, but it's not going in all these pieces of paper. So you're not feeling overwhelmed. You can create the clarity and you can create the focus. So when you've got your white space mixed with actually knowing what is the priority, that it all works well. Okay. And that's how it starts to build. We've got Amelie coming home from gym now. Amelie, do you want to wave to everyone? Amelie's just come home from gym. I'll come in a bit, Bubs. Okay. So we've got our white space and we've got our streamlining with your project management tool. So number 3, when you've got these in place, you are now in the position to start to actually develop you, the CEO. One of the reasons that I get incredibly passionate about this is I constantly see children's activity entrepreneurs are very much, as they're building, sometimes it looks a bit like a hobby. It ends up not looking like the business that they want to. It's because we get into business because we're passionate about teaching children. That's the number one reason. I often say when I started business 20 years ago, I could do a wicked backflip. Not so good after 3 kids, it's a bit slow, my backflip these days, but I can still do it. But I could do I was a British champion gymnast. That was my passion. Could I run a business? Nope. I learned from the ground up. Of course, we're going to make many, many mistakes. That's all part of learning. But at some point, we want to create that business where you can step in the business and you can step out. So it's developing you, the CEO, not you, the business owner. So when people say to me, I'm the business owner of this business, I want you to start thinking, I'm the CEO of this particular company. Even if you're a team, start thinking as you mean to go on. So when you're developing your routine, these 3 things start interlinking with the 3 things that we've talked about today on doubling your productivity. Your white space, your streamlining of your product management tool, and developing you, the CEO. I want you to start thinking, what does your day look like? And you will do all these 3 things together as you're building out your white space, your P1s, your P2s. They will all work around together as you're working on this task. This is your homework for tonight as we move into tomorrow. It should literally take you 15 to 30 minutes to really start looking at your day. I want you to look at your day and go, what would I love my day to look like? Not what does it look like? What does my day, what would your dream day be? What would you feel is your zone of genius in your business? For me, in Gold Medal, I love to coach. What you're seeing now, this is my forte. I love it. I don't see it as work at all when I'm coaching my clients. The day flies by. I'd never think that, oh my gosh, what a drag. This is my stepping into my zone of genius, and I love doing this. This is my main part in Gold Medal. I'm not in the back end. I'm not on websites. I'm not on landing pages. I'm not on many emails at all. That's not my zone of genius. So it's looking, how can you create your day where 80% is doing what you love to do, what you know you can thrive. And said this might start with you doing it 5%. Then you build out 10% of what you want to do, depending the stepping stones and where you're at in your business. Because when you can create your day where you're 80%, there will always be some things that you have to do that you're not is your strength. But when you can be 80% in your zone of genius and you operate in that world for 6 months plus, you will see your business in a very different place in 6 months' time, because you're working in the area that you know best and what you thrive in. But often when we start our businesses, whether you're taking out the bins, you're doing all the emails, you're answering all the phone calls, you're teaching all the classes, you're doing any syllabus planning, lesson planning, whatever the case may be, you're in every area of your business. So it starts to differentiate, what does that look like for you? Okay, so we've got, what does your day look like? Looking at what are your actual priorities. So it's looking at what is your goal in the next 18 months. If it is to open a new venue, for example, is your current venue full? Do you have enough savings and emergencies behind you that are in place? Do you already have a strong, thriving team that is growing completely without you? Don't think about opening another venue if your current one isn't working enough that you're trying. I remember in the early days opening a new venue, and I literally can't believe I ever did this, but I remember opening a new venue and I was teaching in another one. I wasn't even there for the open day. Madness, I know. I look back now, I'm like, what were you thinking, Katie? I would never do that now. I'd be there, ballooned, we'd have like pictures taken. But I was so busy in the current ones, I wasn't going to run that one. I had a team and I was meant to be there, but then we struggled because we had a staffing issue and I was pulled from pillar to post. But I was at the point where I was so in it that we were opening ones up and had the team. But if 1 or 2 or 3 people were sick, we were seriously short-staffed. So if you're thinking of, I need a new venue in the next 18 months, you want to be focusing on staff heavy, making sure everything is dialed in around those teams, and you're constantly recruiting. You want to be overstaffed before you're opening that. Okay. So thinking, what is the end goal and what's the priority? So if that's the priority in 18 months, you need to be working on that now. You don't work on it 3 months prior. You need to be working on it now to really build that business and those foundations so strong. Really looking at where you're at in the business and what is your job in the business. So going back to your zone of genius, what is your zone of genius? What can you do in your business that you know will really bring the business up and support the next level of growth? So in my gyms, I'm completely out the day-to-day, but my role in the business is growth. I'm the one looking at investment. I'm the one reaching out to new venues. I'm the one that is leader and visionary for all my core leaders in the business to make sure they're always feeling inspired and know who they can come to. I'm not working with apprentices and people working maybe just Saturdays or Sunday. Of course, every person in your business is important, but my main core leaders, my main 4 leaders, they're the ones that I'm breathing love, support, nurturing them on a week-to-week, day-to-day basis, because they're the ones that pull everyone else up. So I'm not trying to do all of this, which I was like Pinocchio, literally, like many years ago, trying to bring everybody up, and then I'm left exhausted. So it's thinking, where is your main role that you need to be, or you would like to be, that you're going to build into this in the next 6 months to a year, 18 months. Okay, so I just wanted to recap. We've covered today, and I want you just to pop, guys, whether you're streaming in, put it on DMs, drop us a comment, drop us a chat if you're on Zoom. I want you just to put one thing so far that's resonated with you today. One thing that's jumped out as a bit of a light bulb moment that you may be doing already, but remember, you may be thinking, how can I refine that? Am I actually doing it as effective as possible? Maybe it's creating some white space. Maybe it's creating some capacity in your workload so that you've actually got some space to breathe. Maybe it's getting that streamlining and getting a project management tool up and running. Maybe it's looking at what your actual day looks like and what that needs to be moving forwards. So yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys for sharing. So we've got prioritizing white space, defining roles for driving business forward. Absolutely. We've got looking in on our streaming platforms, actually knowing what white space is and why that's important. That's a really good question, because we often got go. And I remember reading a book about a good 7-8 years ago of the importance of white space. I was thinking, to grow your business, you need to be doing more thinking than doing. And at the time, that really resonated with me, because in the early 5-6 years, I was all about the doing and not the thinking, which, looking back, if I thought a bit more, I would have made some mistakes that I did. So is knowing the importance and why we actually need to do it. So we've developed our white space. We've developed the streamlining and your project management tool, and really get you thinking what your CEO position actually needs to look like. So what we've got coming up tomorrow for you is really dialing in on how to supersize your student numbers, because once you've got some organization going on, you've got some space to think, we can now start building out some strategy around our marketing, around our core team, and around our main team and KPIs in the next couple of days. So what I would love you to do is to take away what you've done and what you've really, the light bulb moments of today, and said your homework, literally 15 minutes, because I want you just to really implement this week. I don't want you to come away this week and go, well, that was wonderful, that masterclass for Katie. I'm going to implement in about 6 weeks' time. That's too late. We all know you can go to a conference and 10% of people actually implement. So if you're turning up live, either your Zoom or you're streaming in, do yourself a favor and honor your time and actually implement. And by the end of the week, actually I've positioned these key topics this week to get you results, to make sure you are fully set up for next year. So do yourself a favor, take 15 minutes at the end today or first thing in the morning, and just to go, while it's fresh, go through. And I want you to pop in the Facebook group, just put done. These are the key things that I'm implementing this week, whether it's one thing or two things, or if you've got a plan to do it over the next couple of weeks to do all three, that's fine. But just start with one. If you're not yet part of our Facebook community, I just want you to put Facebook or FB in the chat box or on our streaming platforms. That is where we have a private, exclusive Facebook group. That is where all the replays go. That is where lots of bonuses that we offer can go in there. Our resources, our podcast episodes go in there. There's a lot of great freebies in there that can really support you day to day with the growth of being a children's activity entrepreneur. So guys, what an honor it's to be with you this evening. I hope you've enjoyed our little visitors that have come in. Always great building your business from home. And I always encourage them to come in, because I say this on so many of my lives. One of my mentors that said to me many years ago, she built a multi-million-pound company and had 5 children. She said, Katie, one of the best things your children will learn is watching you build your businesses from home. So they're part of my gold medal business, and they're always around my gyms and learning. So you never know, I say, what little ones are hearing and what they're picking up. So I'm sure you'll see them throughout the week. They always like to come and say hi. So what an honor teaching you this evening. As I said, we look forward to seeing you. We're live 8 o'clock Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of this week. So any questions you've got, pop them in the Facebook group. And if you haven't yet booked your 20-minute strategy call, I've just had a message from Glia. There is literally 3 spaces left for the rest of this week. So make sure you grab your time with myself and my team. So have a wonderful evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And it's an honor to coach you to success this evening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.